I'm ready to irradiate your existing brain cells.
Hello, this is Spec Ops 56, and I'm coming to you from reloading bench number 1 here in my man cave. Now today we're doing part 1 of an extreme corrosion and rust protection test of these 7 fine firearms lubrication and protection products that you see. Now before I continue, I want to give credit where credit is due. The idea for this test it did not originate with me. I was inspired by Fred Hart over at the Gear Obsession channel and his several Plate of Truth tests. Now that inspired me to want to do some tests of my own, and so with Fred's blessings I want to present to you what I call the bar of justice. This is a bar of just plain old cold rolled steel that I hope I'll be able to use to do justice to testing of these fine products. Now I say extreme corrosion protection test for this reason. Now, a lot of YouTube gun channels have done different corrosion protection tests of different products, but what I've noticed is that most will hang it out, you know, on their back porch or somewhere out in the weather, and usually for 2, 3, maybe 4 weeks. And you know, I know there's one fellow that he sprays it with saline solution over a period of time. But I wanted to do something a little more extreme, something a little tougher for these products to perform under. So what I intend to do is, after I've applied each product to its square, I'm going to bury this bar of justice out in my backyard, and I'm going to leave it there until sometime around or after Labor Day. Periodically, I will go out and pour a bucket of water over the spot where I buried it, in addition to whatever rain happens to come during that period of time. At the end of that time, then I will dig it up, we'll bring it in here, we'll clean the dirt off, and we will see just how much protection each of these products provided to this bar. Now the way I'm going to do this, I'm taking my cues from Fred Hart and his Plate of Truth. I'm just going to use these little 22 cotton cleaning patches to apply a coat of each product to its numbered square. Now the final section here on the bar of justice, which is not numbered, is what I'll consider my control surface, and to that I'll be applying the Rig Universal gun grease. And I say it's a control because of the fact that grease obviously should provide more protection to the surface than a thin application of oil. At least you would think so. We're going to find out. But I also know that Rig Universal gun grease is well known as a long-term storage preservative. So that's what I'm going to use as my control comparison. Now another thing that I've done is I've gone to the website of each of the manufacturers of these products, and I've downloaded and printed out the information, just the basic information on each product that details, you know, what the product is and its corrosion protection claims. And I'll read that to you before I apply each product which I will do one at a time. All right, the first product that we're going to test on square number 1 is synthetic Ezox Premium Gun Care, the triple action solution: solvent, lubricant, rust preventative. No oily film, dry to the touch. Now, before I read you what the manufacturer says, I want to say that I have a lot of personal experience with Ezox. Back in the 80s, when I worked in a gun shop for a gunsmith, Ezox was pretty much all he used. I can tell you that it's an excellent bore cleaner, an excellent cleaner. It's very good used with some 4-0 steel wool to remove surface rust without removing the bluing. And it works very well as a rust preventative, although I've never used it in an extreme condition. I will say that it's not the best lubricant. It does work, but it's a little too thin to be a really slick lubricant. But otherwise, it's an excellent product, and it's unfortunately getting harder to find. Now, according to Ezox, it says that Ezox Premium Gun Care is total gun care system with one product for all guns. This includes black powder guns. That's another thing I want to mention about Ezox. Is a really good thing about Ezox is that it will not affect your primers or your powder. Some gun cleaners and lubricants, most infamously WD-40, will kill your powder and your primer. This will not. But it cleans and lubricates and protects. It is harmless to powders and primers. It's non-flammable because it's not a petroleum-based product. It dries to the touch on guns in use or stored, and it functions from plus 450 degrees Fahrenheit to minus 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, I can't say that I've ever really tested it to those temperatures. Now, Ezox test results outperform gun oils. It says the salt spray fog test results for synthetic Ezox are very conclusive. For test purposes that parallel use in firearms, a very thin film of Ezox are used. And it says after 192 to 232 hours of rigorous conditions, Ezox scored an excellent rating, the highest given. So it should do a good job. At least I hope so. So now, none of these products really require shaking, but just to be fair and make sure everything is as close to the same as I can get it, I'll give each one just a little shake before I apply it. So, I'm going to put some on the patch. And as best I can with my left hand so that you can see it, I'm going to apply it to number 1 here. Try not to get it all over number 2 with my shaky hands. Alright. And there. Oh, just a note. I thoroughly degreased the bar of justice with acetone before starting the filming. Alright, now I'll be letting that dry while applying the other products. So we'll move on to the next one, which will be the boar snake venom. Now it's time for square number 2. The product that we're going to use on square number 2 is the Hoppys Boar Snake Venom Gun Oil with T3. And according to Hoppys, the T3 additive contains liquid molybdenum and liquid PTFE. It says Venom PTFE has the lowest coefficient of friction known to man. It's developed from Dental Drill Oil. It has thin coat technology that will not separate or break down and provides long-lasting corrosion protection. Well, that remains to be seen. Temperature range is negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit to 320 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I have to say that I have no personal experience with any of these other products other than the Ezox. And these were all, except for the Ballast All, were all purchased new. I got the Ballast All from a friend of mine. Alright, so now we'll apply the Hoppys Boar Snake Venom to square number 2. Now I'm going to try to give each one as close as I can to the same amount of product. However, some of these are thicker than others. You know, I am not a scientist, and this is not a laboratory. So this is the best I can do. Let's see. I have to use my right hand because my hands shake too much. I'm liable to get too much of it onto adjacent squares if I don't. Alright, that's the Hoppys Venom Boar Snake oil. Next, we're on square number 3 now, and I'm afraid there's a slight change of plans. I had not read the application instructions for Militech 1 beforehand, so I didn't realize until a few minutes ago that this is a 2-step application process that requires the application of heat in order to bond the Militech 1 to the metal. Well, that's not going to be practical for this test because I can't heat just that square, and it wouldn't be fair to the other products that are going to be tested on here which don't require a heat bonding process. So, as a last-minute substitution, instead of the Militech 1, I'm going to try the Kano Kroil oil, the oil that creeps. Now, I have experience using this as a penetrating oil, and I can tell you that it is the best penetrating oil you will ever find. And when it says the oil that creeps, that's exactly what it means. It will get into places no other oil will. In fact, when I was in gunsmithing school, I saw a demonstration where someone put some Kroil oil into a glass, a drinking glass, and you could sit there and watch the oil creep up the side of the glass and out and down the outside. Now, it says that it provides rust protection. I've certainly never tried it for that purpose, but we will now. Should be interesting. It's a very thin oil, obviously, since it's a penetrating oil primarily. So, here we go with the Kroil oil. To number 3. I'm getting these coated as completely as I can without going over. So, all right, now we'll move on to number 4. Square number 4 will be the Ballast All multi-purpose sportsman's oil. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about Ballast All. Never personally used it myself, so this should be interesting. According to the manufacturer, Ballast All is the world's most useful and environmentally friendly lubricant. It says Ballast All has been around in Europe for over 100 years. Originally invented for military use, it became a household word in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Now it says for firearms, it cleans and dissolves traces of copper, lead, brass, zinc, and whatever tombac is. lubricates and protects firearms lock, stock, and barrel. Forms a film that protects against rust. So we'll find out. Now this one is the only one that's in a spray can, so I've got the paper towel here for the overspray. Oh, I didn't realize that it foamed up. All right, it does have a funky smell. Alright, that takes care of the Ballast All. Now we'll move on to square number 5. Square number 5, we're going to apply the M-Pro 7 Gun Oil LPX. Now, according to the manufacturer, it's more than just gun oil. LPX is the next generation of lubricant and protectant for advanced military and law enforcement style handheld and crew-served weaponry used in extreme environment operations. It says replaces all gun oils, CLPs, and dry lubes with the benefits of each and none of the issues. The highest possible protection against wear, humidity, and moisture, including salt water, leaves a long-lasting film that repels dust, dirt, and will not evaporate. Excellent for ready-to-fire long-term storage. Well, we will see. That's quite a claim. It's green. Doesn't have too much of a smell. Alright, that's M-Pro 7. Square number 6. We'll be testing the KG4 gun oil. Now, according to the manufacturer, KG4 gun oil meets the stringent requirements set forth in the original military specifications, mil-blah blah 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 blah. It is a blend of the finest lubricants available and contains no synthetics. With very low surface tension, KG4 exhibits excellent lubrication and provides outstanding corrosion protection. Well, we're going to find out just how outstanding its corrosion protection is. It's a little thicker than some of the others. Well, that's the last of the oils that we're testing. Next, we'll go on to this control square and put the rig grease on it. Okay, now we come to our control square, and I'll be applying rig universal gun grease to this. According to the manufacturer, a thin film of rig universal gun grease will help keep your firearms rust-free. One thorough application of rig universal gun grease inside and out will protect your rifle, handgun, shotgun, or muzzleloader against rust and corrosion. Well, we'll see. See how well it compares to these oils. It seems to have melted a little bit out here in the hot man cave. Try to do the best I can to get a fair approximation of the thickness that the others were put on with. All right. Well, that's the end of the application process. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave the bar of justice with the products on it out here for an hour or so to give them all time to work their way into the metal pores while I have lunch and go dig a hole in the backyard. So we'll see you again out in the backyard. Alright, well, we're in the backyard now and we're going to give the bar of justice a decent burial. I chose this location that I'm burying it because my backyard is on a downslope, and at this location all the rain runoff from my neighbor's yard comes right through here, and so this will get the maximum soaking during the summer rains. So we will bury it now. And we'll use this to mark the grave so we don't forget where it is. And since it's pretty dry today, we will give the bar of justice a little bit of a start. As you can see, the water flows downhill here, which is why nothing grows right in this area. Seeds can't take root. Alright, well, the next time we'll be seeing the bar of justice will be sometime around Labor Day. So until then, have a good day.
Well, no radiation so far. I'm sure you're glad to hear that.